Alrighty, so today I'm going to be showing you guys how to make plain white rice and beans as well. So this is for anyone who's nervous to try and make rice by himself. I did it a few times solo and gotten pretty good at it, so I'm just going to tell you the way I do it. Alrighty, so here's my rice bin, but before anything, they usually say 1 cup of rice is 2 cups of water. I don't really follow that method. It doesn't work all the time. It all depends on how much cups of rice you're using. So today I'm going to be making 5 cups of rice, so I'm probably going to be ended up putting about 5.5 cups of water to match it. So got my 5 scoops. It's inside my little bin here. So we're just going to rinse the rice and keep kind of move it around. All this, you can see the water's going to turn very white. So all we're doing right now is removing the starch and any yellow grains of rice. So you're going to do this until your water comes clean. But I usually just run it through a strainer, pretty much one of these bad boys. Strain it into another bin and repeat the cycle about 2 or 3 times. And then we're going to have our water in our pot. Alrighty, so I have my 5.5 cups of water in my rice pot here. Alrighty, so my rice is clean. Now we're back at our pot. I'm gonna set it to high. And I'm gonna add just a splash of oil now, and a teaspoon of salt. And for 5 cups, it's decent for 1.5 teaspoons. Alright, so here's my my splash. Teaspoon salt. Now I'm gonna add another half teaspoon. Use that last half bit. Okay, so this part for me is optional. You don't have to use it, but I actually add this to all my meals. It's actually very beneficial for you. As you can see, and that's with just 3 tablespoons of 1 serving. Pretty good. So I just add some of this usually, but like I said, you don't have to. Sprinkle it around. So now we're actually just going to wait for our water to start simmering, close to a boil almost. It's just going to simmer very crazy, and then we're going to add our rice. Alrighty, in the meantime, we're going to move over to our beans pan. So you're going to need a medium deep pan. So kinda, that's what I use. I already put a splash of oil at the bottom. Just coat the pan a little bit, and you're going to set this to medium after you've decided what kind of beans you're using. And in this case, I will be using these Roman beans. I usually use Roman beans, pink beans, or black beans. So this is what I'm going to be showing you guys how to make today. And also, here is my layout for the seasoning. I don't do anything crazy. Still stick to my flakes, a little bit of oregano, another teaspoon of salt, and a sazon packet, but that's just really for color and lighter flavor. But also, there's also this all around seasoning. Hispanics, we call it sofrito. So we're gonna add another teaspoon of this too as well. So I'll do that all in order just so you guys can see what it looks like. Alright, so our oil is in there. We're just gonna start this pan, get it on medium heat. Alright, so it's on medium heat now, and now I'm gonna add the beans. Try and make sure you get them all out there. Alright, still should be some more in there. I think that's everything. Oh, I still got some, so I'll just scoop that out and go to the next step. Alrighty, so all the beans are in there. Now we're going to use your bean can, and we're just going to fill it up with water, and we're just going to add some water to that. I'll just add water, our teaspoon of salt, a little bit of oregano, little bit of flakes, teaspoon of sofrito, and our sazon packet. Make sure that's all in there. And give it a quick stir after that. Okay, so we're stirring. Now you're just gonna let that simmer, and you're gonna check it constantly. You don't want your beans to turn too soft, but it's gonna start simmering into a boil. So just let it boil, and we'll go check on our rice then. Alrighty, so it's still not as hot as I thought it would be, but that's okay because now they're cooking at the same time. It's getting hot at the bottom. It is bubbling. You can see it bubbling. But we're just going to wait for that simmer to get a little more violent before we add our rice. Alright, so back to our beans. You can see it kind of simmering to a boil. Just keep stirring it. Couple stirs. Who's angry? Who's angry? Alright. Probably the toughest thing about cooking is just having your little ones in the background, making sure they're good while the food doesn't get burned. And now we're boiling. Nice. So remember, like I said, you could take a spoon to that. Just make sure your season is where you would like it to be. Not too salty, but you know, whatever your taste buds desire. Just add whatever you need to while it's boiling. Also, usually you can tell it's ready when they start cracking open, but sometimes they'll be rough, so you'll have to try one every now and then just to see what, you know, if you prefer harder beans or slightly softer beans. It's up to you. So don't leave it in there too long. You don't want it to turn mushy, but definitely have at it every now and then to see how that goes. I'm there, but not quite there, so probably let that go for another 2 minutes or so. Still lightly simmering, so we're just gonna wait on that. Keep an eye on the beans in the meantime. Alrighty, so the beans, I've hit that texture I'm looking for. I'm just gonna turn off this side of the burner now, and just kind of let it sit there with the let it stop boiling. Then I'll throw a lid on there. And we're still waiting for our simmer here to get a little more violent, but it's getting there. Let me see if I give it a little spin here, if it'll help agitate the water a little more evenly. Alright, so that simmer looks a lot better. Now I'm going to add the rice. Okay, so mine's kind of fell out in a clump. You want to be careful though. So I usually use a spoon and level it out with the water. Try and make it as level as possible. And we're going to leave it on high just long enough until it gets below the surface of the rice. So this won't take very long. You're just gonna have to keep an eye on it. You don't want the water to get too low. And earlier, like I said, this is why I do mine's a little bit different. When they say 1 cup of rice, it's 2 cups of water. I don't know, I feel like when you put too much water, it takes a lot longer. So I have it right above the rice. We're just gonna let it sit on high, and I'll show you exactly when you have to turn down the heat. Now, as it's sitting there on high, you're going to see the water start to evaporate slowly, so that's why the level of water is going to drop. But it still has to be just a little bit lower. You want to see more of that surface of rice. You're going to start seeing little craters like this, little geysers, if you will. And so when it gets a little bit lower, we're going to drop it down to medium, and we're going to set our timer for 18 minutes. With a lid on top of your pot. So I'm going to resume the video when that is all in play now. So I'm going to wait a little bit longer for that water to drop, and then we're going to add our lid and drop the heat to medium for 18 minutes. Be right back. Alrighty, so you can see much of the water is right below the surface of the rice. So at this point we're going to grab our lid. Just going to toss it on top. We're going to drop our heat down to medium. Now you're going to set a timer for 18 minutes, and then we'll be right back. During this 18-minute window, you do not want to touch your pan or your pot at all. Not at all. Don't even peek at it. After the 18 minutes is done, I will show you what to do. So our 18 window is done. Remove your lid. Have a look. You take a spoon and move it around and have a look at it. Now, if it looks dry, pretty much would be ready. Sorry about the steam. You pretty much want your rice to look like it's falling apart. Nice loose texture to it. Give it a good stir. If it appears wet, you might have to leave it in there for a little bit longer. Maybe add another 5 minutes. But it would also advise you to taste test, and your taste test is going to let you know if your rice is too hard. But pretty much this is what your final results should look like. So I hope this helped anyone who has never made rice and beans before. And I just want to say, the more you practice this, the better it'll be. So today's lesson was 5 cups of rice, 5.5 cups of water, and a little bit of oil, splash of oil, a teaspoon and a half of salt, and leave everything on high to simmer. And when you see it simmer, add your rice and drop it down to medium for 18 minutes. And there you go. Rice and beans, guys. Thanks for watching. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments and let me know. And I'll see if I can help you out. Thanks for watching, guys. Bye-bye.